Hey everybody, after last week's episode with poor sound quality, here's another take we did on the same subject that we were not gonna air. I hope you like this one. Enjoy! Thank you for watching.
Hi guys, and welcome back to part 2. And I thought this week, for a continuation of last week's episode, why not bring my partner in crime? You guys, he's not much of a camera person, and I literally had to ambush him for this because I've been asking him to do this for the past week, and he's like, we're gonna do it. And today I was like, you know what, I just kind of like seized the moment, and he's currently here by duress. He doesn't want to be here, but for us, he's gonna be here. So, babe. So last week I ended the story at when we got our first client. You remember Valerie? Yeah. So I thought maybe we start this episode kind of like sharing your background, our background. Okay. So you guys, we actually met in high school, but the funny thing is we were not friends in high school. We had a few encounters. He was actually dating one of my friends at the time. We had a few encounters, but we weren't really like friends like that. Oh, funny story. This one time, he was a prefect and I wasn't, and I did something at school and I had to be punished, and he was supervising my punishment. And as part of that punishment, I had to carry these huge bricks like this size. He literally stood there the whole time, and I carried those bricks up and down, and he watched. Didn't even try to assist or help. He was like, I am here to supervise and you are gonna do this. And now he's paying for every brick. So yeah, long story short, a couple of years after high school, Facebook was just coming in and everybody was just adding everybody on Facebook and whatever. And then we befriended each other. You sent me a friend request, and then we started texting back and forth, in a very friendly manner, actually. It was very friendly. We were just talking, and then eventually we ended up talking business. And then he was like, okay, let's collaborate on because there was an opportunity that arose and I told you about it. And they were like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And we're like, let's collaborate on this idea. So he was in another town, and then he decided to move to my town. So while we were meeting for the first time and we really thought that this thing was gonna take off and everything, you were busy. Initially, you had no intentions of staying, did you? You had no intentions of staying. And then we were like, okay, we think this might work. And then he started looking for an apartment, and I was like, and I already had an apartment because he was in my town. And I was like, instead of, you having an apartment, why don't we just share my apartment, and then we can, save money that we then gonna put into this thing. And he was like, oh yeah, great idea. He moved in, we became very good friends, like very good friends. Like we were spending a lot of time with each other. We were doing almost everything with each other by this point. But we didn't start dating until maybe a year after. That's when I was kind of like looking at him like, and he was looking at me like, were you? Or were you feeling me like way before then? No, come on now. Okay. Anyway, long story short, we ended up being in a relationship. Life took over. I had a job, and then you ended. Oh, the business thing ended up not because we were involved with some, I don't want to say dodgy. What would be the right word?
Yeah,
Dodgy. We ended up working with, we were with some dodgy characters, and then we decided no, we no longer wanted to go forward. We let that go real quick, and then I ended up, keeping my job, going to work, doing whatever, and he ended up getting a job with another company, and then life kind of just took over after that.
yeah.
For a couple of years, life took over. We were too busy being in love. Going on vacations and then doing all that stupid nonsense. We're just too busy being in love. Spending money instead of investing money, yeah. And then, well, I started when I had to leave my job, I had to do a couple of other jobs that I completely hated. And Nathan also hated, because we were now working at odds with each other. Because I was working long, odd hours, and you were working kind of regular hours, and we had no time for each other. So he hated it. Well, I hated it more than he did, trust me. So at that point, that's when we started kind of like exploring what other things we could do. So once I brought the idea to him, at first he was like, we had already plans. We were planning to get married in that same year, and which was something that we had really been, working on for. It wasn't a while though, because he proposed in August, and we got married the December. So the marriage thing was kind of like, it was like very quick.
Yeah.
It was very quick. So I brought the idea to him. I was like, listen, I think we can do this. And he was like, no, babe, we have plans right now and we can't delay this. So as long as, and then we fought a little bit about it. We went back and forth. And then finally he was like, okay, fine. You know what? As long as we don't delay our plans and then we don't divert the fans for something else, it's fine. Look into it. Let's do it. Whatever. I mean. And I knew that he was just saying this to end the argument. You're interested? Okay. So then I was on a mission to prove a point, you guys. So I went and I started. I was in it. I was day and night. I was in it. And then finally I had something, I came back to him. I showed him. He was now looking at me like, okay, I think you onto something. Then we got the first client. Then he was like, yes. He was like, yes. In that moment, we went, we did the job. We came back, and I remember on that day we were like sitting in bed and we were like, actually you were like, okay, we're on to something. I think we can do this. And that from that moment we were like all in, like 100%, like I'm gonna quit my job in. That's how in we were at that point. And we were like, okay, we're not gonna tell anybody, because we were worried about what people were gonna think. People were gonna think we're stupid. People were gonna discourage what we were trying to do. And so we didn't, for the longest time, we didn't share the vision with anybody. We were literally just like, we would, after work, would sit at the dining room table, and then would start creating flyers and marketing online. We were just posting on Facebook, sending emails, and at one time, funny story, I created these flyers and I printed them out and cut them into, I made my little flyers, and then I went to our local supermarket and I tried to. Man, people were so rude. You guys, you have no idea how rude people can be. Please, you guys, if ever you see somebody handing out flyers at the supermarket or whatever, even if you just take a look at the flyer, it doesn't take away from just be nice. Just be nice. It was the worst experience ever. And I was there and I ended up putting the flyers like on the cars. Instead, I stopped handing them out to people because people were just being so mean, and I just started putting the flyers on the cars and stuff like that. And I never did that ever again. That was the one time that I did it. I was like, nope, I'd rather do this online. Started sending people emails, and we started, basically the journey just started there. We started getting clients, and we were like kind of like doing it in secret. People would just see us going up and back and forth, and they really didn't know what was going on. And then at that point we were like, oh. It's not much of a talker, guys, but when the camera is off, you can't shut him up. You can't shut him up.
This is your channel. I'm a guest of your channel.
He's a guest on my channel, but it's
When
our
you come,
story.
Yeah, when you come to my channel, you also be sitting there listening to the story. The story from my vantage point of view. This is your one. But yeah, that's basically how this journey started. And here we are today, 2018, 4 years later.
2017.
2017. Yeah, 5 years later.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've got something going on. But it hasn't been easy.
It hasn't been easy. There's been times where we felt like we wanted to quit. Like when people share their journeys, they make everything look glamorous and easy. Like, oh, I got this new client, and there's been times where we've faced difficulties, like extreme financial difficulties. And there's been times when, because the thing is, when you get the jobs, it's great. You get paid good money. But then there are times when you go maybe months at a time without getting work.
But then that was maybe in the first 2 years.
Yeah, in the first 2 years, we had months at a time where we were not getting paid, and we still had to go see clients. We still had to do this and do that, and we were not getting paid, and it was really, really difficult. At one point, Nathan got offered a job. You remember? And I think that was like at the worst. And we had to make a decision whether to and the job we had to move to a whole new town and start a whole new life in a different town. And we had to sit on it for like a month and decide, listen, if we take this job, that means we leave this thing that we've been working on for the past 2-3 years on, and then we go start a new life somewhere. Whereas we could continue with this thing, it could or could not be something. And then we collectively together we took a decision, no, to leave it and work on this thing, by ourselves. So far so good. It hasn't been easy, and it's not where we wanted to be yet, but we are at a good place.
A bit sustainable, a bit. There is something going on there. Regular clients. Real clients. We've set up almost all the necessary basic structures.
Yeah.
Looking good. Future is bright. Upward only from here.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, a lot of commitment. You really need to be all in.
So basically, what we invested was a lot of sweat equity.
A bit of quid, though.
A bit of quid, but a whole lot of. I think it's a whole lot of sweat equity, really, because it takes a lot to keep going at something that keeps knocking you down mentally and financially. It's difficult to keep committed to something that you have no idea how it's going to turn out. It's like flipping a coin, really. Like, you never know which side the coin is going to fall on. So in that sense,
But the moment you start knocking on some doors you never thought you would knock on, sit on some chairs you never thought you'd sit
yeah,
on, meet some people you never thought you'd be in a boardroom.
with
It becomes
real, yeah.
Becomes real. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And you start pushing, and yeah, you guys, that's all it is. So yeah, that's basically how we started this thing. So yeah, I think that's it for this episode. So I'm gonna start giving you guys a little bit more tips to get started for those of you who want to get started, and those of you that are looking to get started. We'll be sharing some tips, things you can do. I don't know, whatever I think that could be useful to you guys, I'll share. Yeah, and then you won't be seeing much of this guy, because this guy doesn't do cameras. No. Even if it's a picture,
I don't know, camera.
he's gonna look like this in the picture, like.
I made my happiest.
Behind the camera. Okay, you guys, until next time, thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends and family if you like us, if you like me. Yeah, bye for now. Use